Hi, this is Randall here in Texas.
And I'm Matt here in Michigan. Today, Randall and I are doing a flashback review on a sports movie from 1992. We're taking a look at White Men Can't Jump. It stars Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez, and Tyra Farrell. It is written and directed by Ron Shelton, who's also known for Hollywood Homicide, Dark Blue, Tin Cup, and Bull Durham, which we have a review of. But before we go any further, if you like this review, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also be sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell and turn on notifications for our latest videos.
White Men Can't Jump tells the story of a couple of street ball hustlers who find themselves in a series of precarious predicaments. The movie had a $31 million budget and grossed about $91 million at the time of recording. Had average to above average reviews from critics and audiences, and it has sort of a weird legacy to it, considering it's a sports comedy movie. There was a tie-in video game on the Atari Jaguar. Nike made apparel based on the movie's apparel, which is weird, not the other way around. And the famous foods that start with the letter Q category on Jeopardy actually did show up in the real show in 1997. Kind of a weird little White Men Can't Jump multiverse, I guess you'd say. But Matt, looking at the movie, it's been a long time since I watched it, which is kind of why I wanted to go back and watch it. What did you think of it?
This is another movie that's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, coming out in 92, we watched this when we were quite a bit younger, and, it's still enjoyable. I still enjoy this movie, and I think I enjoy this movie a little bit more. All the parts that I enjoyed, are of course still in this movie, so I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. But there's details that I didn't pick up on when I was a lot younger, and now I definitely pick on those details, and it makes my enjoyment of this movie much more. How about you?
So my memories of it is that it was much more funny than I see it as now.
You wouldn't know what a behind the back pass was. You'd have a hard enough time passing gas.
I mean, it was billed as a comedy, which is kind of almost a disservice to the film because it's so much more than just a comedy. I'd say it almost gives up on being a comedy halfway through the movie and says, now we're going to tell this actual serious story about like the lives of these characters. Because early in the film, it's like a solid R, hard R film, and you can scarcely even keep up with the expletives and jokes coming out of Wesley Snipes' mouth. Seriously, it's crazy.
Look at that. It's all right, Walter. Why don't you throw that big fat butt at me, huh? I'm getting tired of making you look bad, Walter. It's hard work. Hard goddamn work for another man to make another man look so bad.
And I got a lot of laughs out of that. But then as the movie went on, I found myself way more interested in, hey, these are pretty complex, interesting characters for a dumb sports comedy movie.
Oh yeah, I agree. Snipes and Harrelson do an excellent job in this film, and these are like dynamic characters, and we see some growth, especially from Harrelson's character throughout the film. And so yes, that's something I really do latch on to more when I said some of the details I picked up now watching now as opposed to watching younger. That's definitely another one. And yeah, kind of on the comedy stuff too. There's some serious situations that our main characters find themselves into, and so to me it does have more of like a serious tone watching it now than watching it when I was younger.
And I really like Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson's portrayals of their characters here, but I left the movie absolutely falling in love with Perez's character instead. Her character is a really interesting character. She has to go through like these tough situations. It's not really her fault, the trouble that her boyfriend Woody Harrelson's character is in, and she has to end up making tough decisions, even though like at the end she wouldn't have been like better off and gotten where she was with the whole Jeopardy thing, which you feel is just like this weird side angle to the story until it becomes important in the story without the help of both Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes' character. Her character ended up being like a weird, joyful character, even though she's not particularly nice, I guess.
I think she's definitely our intelligent character in there too. And I think Wesley Snipes, his character is really good at perceiving, the situations and what's going on in the situations, and almost, kind of like a mentor a little bit for Harrelson in some parts, just like, dude, listen to the woman.
Listen to the woman.
As weird as it sounds, you kind of you would think stereotypically, who's the character that's going to be, in trouble? Oh yeah, it's going to be the black character, but it's not. He's actually got it much more together. He's working his way out with multiple jobs. He's a hardworking person. He's got a loving wife and a loving family, and he's just trying to get out of, this area of the apartments where it's awful. And like you said, he ends up being a mentor towards Woody Harrelson's character, who is down in the dump, very bad with money, and he tries hard, but it's like, I can only do so much for someone who's so self-destructive.
This movie, a big part of it is about misconceptions about people, preconceived notions. I mean, their whole swindle is based on that, is like getting other street ballers to think that, because Woody Harrelson's white and because he dresses weird, that he can't ball, which he absolutely can ball.
Yes, that's what I call character development through attrition, basically. Instead of the characters, just doing things, you find out little character traits about them as they chip away at each other, those preconceived notions. These characters have preconceived notions about each other, and they start chipping away at them. Like there's that one scene where Wesley Snipes' character, he takes a low ball towards, I'm gonna steal your woman from you, and that triggers Woody Harrelson's character, and that's a character growth moment. But it's like, it's nothing that was offered to the audience by Woody Harrelson's character. It was offered to the audience when it was chipped at by another character. So it's a very different way of doing character growth than your average film would have you do. Again, not something I expected out of just a comedy, which is how I remember it being advertised and how I remember it when I was younger, is a big disservice to this. I find it much more a drama than a comedy, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree. I do find this much more of a drama than a comedy. And some of these things, like you're talking about, like personal growth, some elements I saw is kind of like, like a white and black kind of thing, actually are more like of a specific character growth as opposed to like a racial thing. One I would talk in particular is when they're, listening to Hendrix or whatever when they're driving.
No. You're supposed to hear it.
Hey, I just said I like to listen to it, man.
No. There's a difference between hearing and listening. See, white people, y'all can't hear Jimmy. You listen.
And that ties in, I think, later on with, like, listen to the woman. Like, you're listening or whatever, but you're not really hearing or whatever what they're saying. So it's not just, a concept of like, oh, you don't get it because, you're white kind of thing. It's more of like, no, you as a person, this is a trait of you that you need to do better on.
And it's interesting because it right up to the very end, I'm with everything that pretty much happens except for two things, which all happen near the end. I don't like the side story of like the debt, I guess, or mob, whatever it is that his character, that Woody Harrelson's character was doing in Louisiana and whatever trouble he was in. I thought that was a little distracting. He could have been in legal debt without being in like life jeopardy debt, I guess. No pun intended to Jeopardy.
This is Jeopardy!
And it would have been just as fine, I guess. You could have debt collectors who weren't out to like kill you. I thought that was a little distracting from the main story. But then at the end, when they go play ball against the the famous ballers of the area, and Gloria's character, Gloria is the character name, but Perez's character is like,
look, Billy, you gambled my money and went through.
And it's a great character moment for her character to leave, to finally say, he's not going to get better. He needs to work on this. He's not, we're not going to work out. But at the same time, I kept thinking to myself, wait, just explain the entire situation. What happened? Their house was broken into. All of their money was stolen. We need to do this, like explain the breadth of the situation. Communication's key. Instead, he's just like,
all right, I have a solution, okay? I will guarantee victory, Okay, I've never offered that before. I will guarantee victory.
You didn't have to lose her, I don't think. Even though it was good for her character, it seemed a little like, why don't you learn from your mistakes, man?
Well, it is totally he doesn't learn from his mistakes and stuff too. And that's the thing too, like these guys are both hustlers kind of thing. But a lot of times Wesley Snipes is basically telling Harrelson's character, like, dude, like you gotta look at the game. Like you just keep playing it when you don't have to play the game. So I think that's a big thing is about and why, you know, Perez's character like leaves himself too. She realizes that he's never gonna stop playing the game. Like it like the circumstances I don't think really matters. You know, he just easily says yes when it comes to, you know, playing a basketball game for money when money's on the line. Even though, you know, he's been burned so many times and technically, I mean, this could be, you know, Wesley Snipes burned him again. I mean, he doesn't. He ends up not burning him in this instance, but it could have been another time where he gets burned by Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, it could be. And that's its own little fun, like, turnaround scene where the hustler gets hustled by another person that he thought he trusted, and, you know, misconception of the characters, like you mentioned earlier, of, oh, you know, you don't hustle, we had an agreement, but it's like, no.
We were never partners. Look, man, it goes like this. You either smoke or you get smoked.
It was fun. And then what's great is that in that entire scene where they're talking about, like, hustling each other, they all get distracted by the basketball game that's on the TV. And even better, to go one step further in that scene, when Wesley Snipes' wife comes out, they're like, man, tell her to move. He's like, no, you tell her to move. Like, he's rightfully afraid of his wife.
Yep, and a lot of that goes, I really like Wesley Snipes in this movie. I mean, even after he, you know, hustles him and stuff, they do a good, like, moment where they show, like, Snipes' reaction to, you know, Woody Harrelson going off. Like, there is a part of him that, you know, feels sorry. Not that necessarily he did what he did. I mean, they're both hustlers, but he feels sorry for the predicament that Woody Harrelson's character is in. And, you know, it comes later when, you know, Woody Harrelson's like, you know, I gotta get Gloria back kind of thing. And, you know, Snipes basically tells him, like, yeah, I guess I got a soft spot for you kind of thing. So I'll help you out because of that.
Yes. And, of course, the hook shot across the court to get in. I love it's such a stupid little scene, but it's one of the few funnier parts in the later half of the movie where he's like, I'm a security guard and I take that job serious. Yeah, that was one of the legitimately enjoyable like jokes in the latter half that really hit home.
We're talking about sometimes more drama than comedy, but we're also talking about all the funny parts. So yeah, I guess it really is a comedy.
It's funny. It's kind of funny in retrospect. It's like when you sit down and watch the movie, you're not necessarily laughing at it, but then when you like kind of think about it later, or maybe if you had watched it in more frequency, you might understand like the nuances of the comedy a little bit more. But it's still way more drama than it is comedy, in my opinion. That does not make it bad. It just makes it maybe a little misrepresented.
Yep, I agree. This movie is one of those movies that I, you know, enjoy. I mean, you're coming in with the title, White Men Can't Jump. It's kind of like a racially charged title there a little bit, talking about stereotypes, but really goes on to talk about character growth, friendship, earning trust, you know, earning respect from each other. A lot of elements and stuff in this, and, you know, the actors do a good job, and there is those good comedic elements, everything too. So yeah, generally I really enjoy White Men Can't Jump more now than I did before.
Yeah, I agree. As an adult watching it and having given it time to, you know, stew in my brain for my memories versus what I actually saw on screen, it's actually more enjoyable as a drama and all of the character growth and development that I saw versus just thinking of it as a funny comedy like a younger me would have thought of. It's definitely enjoyable still, and like so many things from the 90s, it's still omnipresent today, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. But the movie itself, definitely worth a look-see. If you haven't seen it, you know what this means, Matt. We're gonna have to go finish this sports trilogy. Tin Cup has to be on the way. You know?
Oh, I know you're really at the bit, chomping at the bit for that one. Yeah, we'll probably be doing Tin Cup pretty soon then.
But of course, we want to know what you guys think. Have you seen White Men Can't Jump? Has it been a while? What are your memories of it? What do you think of it? Let us know in the comments below. We also have other flashback movie reviews. We have new movie reviews, TV show reviews, and we dive into some deeper discussions.
We also have a Facebook page. Be sure to go over there to check out some of our latest postings. We will post a day before our videos come out, letting you know the topic of the next video. You can check out our reviews every Monday and Thursday. For now, I'm Matt, here in Michigan. Have a good day, everyone.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. I'll see everyone next time.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.